welcome back to my channel. This is Anastasia here with this week's Teen Mom Recap. Before I get started, I would love it if you guys would go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every single week about reality TV news, and if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and subscribe. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. This episode starts off with Cheyenne. She's having her gender reveal soon, and both her and Zach think that it's going to be a girl. Zach asks her, how are you going to do the reveal? And she says, we got a helicopter, and it's going to drop powder down. And Cheyenne has the nerve to come on this show talking about privilege. Rich bitch privilege overcomes every other type of privilege, in my opinion. Then this girl has the nerve to say, immediately after talking about her helicopter, when did gender reveals become so big? And even Corey has like a brain blast and is like, Cheyenne, you did this. You're part of the problem. Nobody told you to rent a helicopter. But the self-awareness ends there, because right after that, Corey asks her, can I jump out of the helicopter in a pink or blue parachute? And I don't think he's joking. And she's like, well, imagine that, baby daddy number 1 falling from the sky to reveal the gender of baby daddy number 2's baby. I think not. Macy picks up Bentley from therapy. He's been doing well, and he's been going for 6 months now, and Ryan still has not gone, not once. If Ryan doesn't go and his ties get cut, I'll be sad, and Bentley will have to live with that forever. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Taylor says that, and then Macy says, there's some horses you can't even lead to water. I mean, she's probably right. Horse Ryan could be dying of thirst and still turn down water because Macy probably poisoned the water because Macy's evil. Caitlyn loves psychic readings. Of course she does. Last time she did one, it had her seeing non-existent lines on pregnancy tests. Personally, I don't get it. I went to a psychic once, and she spent 30 minutes talking about my non-existent boyfriend, and I just kept letting her go on and on. I'm like, how long will she let this go on? Wanted to see how far that would go. And then she tried to charge me $150 to cleanse my aura or some shit, so after that, haven't really trusted psychics. Maybe that's just my experience. Anyway. But Caitlyn's not actually doing a psychic reading. She decides to trick Tyler by saying that she needs him to come over so they can do a reading together, but she's actually just going to show him her positive pregnancy test. So she does that, she shows him the positive test, and Tyler says, no, this is not happening. How did this happen? With like a smile on his face. Gee, he sure sounds thrilled. This has happened like several times with her pregnancy announcements, and Tyler can never just say like, yay, I'm so proud. It always has to be like, no, God, how did this happen? And then, oh, I mean, great, awesome. Caitlyn decides to show up to family dinner wearing an I'm pregnant shirt to announce it, and Tyler says, yeah, it'll say eating for 2, bitch. Tell me Tyler is not the gay best friend. Christina is being an actual mom to Leah, helping her out with her homework, while Amber whines to her therapist that she can't stop thinking about Leah. Her therapist reminds her that she has trauma, so that apparently excuses everything. Gary hangs out with his mom, Carol. She brings all these adorable pictures of Leah from years and years ago. She's so cute. And then Gary tells her about the Amber drama. Carol says, I love Amber, but she needs to allow Leah to have feelings. I remember when Amber used to promise to pick up Leah, and Leah would stand at the door waiting for her for hours, and then Amber didn't come, and Leah would just burst out into tears. I'm surprised that Leah hasn't exploded before now. Oh my God, that's awful. I never knew that horrible little detail. And the way Carol says it is like it happened numerous times too. Gary says Leah just needs a simple I'm sorry. Not, oh, I was on drugs, I couldn't help it, or you'll get it when you're older. Just a sorry. But of course, Amber is too prideful to do so. Josh is still in Oklahoma. His quote-unquote job has extended, and he once again doesn't have cell phone service. Kind of funny how Josh conveniently never has service. And how it also conveniently goes out whenever Mackenzie starts bringing up important topics. I mean, he's in Oklahoma, not the Bermuda Triangle. I don't know why this dude never has service. Anyway, Mackenzie finally gets a hold of her wild child Bronx and kind of sits him down to have a talk. Why are you biting other kids and the teacher? It breaks my heart when you hit and bite. I'm taking you to see a therapist. Why do you listen to your daddy but not me? And he starts busting out laughing at Mackenzie, telling him to do anything. And this poor kid has an entire mouthful of silver teeth. And I'm not making fun of Bronx. I'm coming at Mackenzie here for clearly not making sure that her kids brush their teeth and feed them something other than Fun Dip. Anyway, Bronx says, I only listen to daddy because I love my daddy. Not me? No. Cheyenne has her gender reveal. The theme of the party, the phrase that's printed on all the napkins and everything and spelled out in the balloons is, here for the sex. Very funny, Cheyenne. Very cute. You also think Corey was here for the sex in that 30-second session that created Ryder? Zach wants a boy, and Ryder also thinks that it's a boy. To the point that she was peeling off the it's a girl stickers that people were wearing at the party and saying, no, 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 it's a boy. And the helicopter, yes, the helicopter, drops down blue powder. It's a boy! Congratulations! Zach is so happy that he backflips straight into the pool. After that, he's like, we got a boy! My life is over now! I guess he meant that in a positive way, like he's so happy he could die today. But maybe consider like the negative aspect of that too, because Cheyenne seems kind of psycho and now you're trapped with her, just like you always wanted. Ryan is actually planning to call Bentley's counselor Dr. Ed. I for one am shocked and actually proud that he's actually doing it. He says, I had to mentally prep myself for this. I don't really like to talk about myself. Mackenzie's like, yeah, but we did counseling together. And look how well that worked out. Ryan does a phone session off camera with the doctor and then comes back. He says it went way better than I thought. He's a cool guy. The convo went on for about an hour and he was very easy to talk to. Eventually, I'll do a session with Bentley. Let's use this as a method to get the truth out. What do you mean by that, Ryan? Method to get the truth out? You're gonna slip secret notes to the doctor and be like, give this to Bentley. Caitlyn goes to a family dinner wearing her shirt that says, if you can read this, you can realize that I'm pregnant. I guess the shirt thing really is basically the new way of texting your parent that you're pregnant because you don't want to say it to them. Caitlyn is not the first person on the show to do this by any means. So they're eating, whatever, chatting, and Caitlyn takes off her sweater to reveal the shirt. Yeah, she stands there awkward AF for like a solid 2 minutes, and that's with cuts and edits, just standing there and no one sees it or pays any attention. She's looking around for approval, she's tapping her hands on the table, no one even glances in her direction. Like, I feel like a producer secretly like poked her mom off camera and whispered like, bitch, look at this shirt before I cringe out of my own skin, please. So Tyler's mom sees the shirt, and the first words out of her mouth are you fucking kidding me? See where Tyler gets his enthusiasm from? But Caitlyn's like none the wiser to her obvious snark. She's just like, nope, I took 6 digital tests and they all said pregnant. She gets some weak congratulations from her family. Yay! Amber is finally going to see Leah because she's bringing her son James to Gary's house. Anyone else forget that Amber had a son? I know it's because they're not allowed to film him due to the custody battle, but still. Amber reaches out to yet another foundation that's probably paying MTV for this exposure. This one's called On Your Feet Foundation, and it helps mothers get back in touch with their kids. Amber's in her toilet paper head wrap talking about, I felt the same way about my mom, like she abandoned me, but I never said it to her. Yeah, Leah's mad, but like, it's not even about me. And the lady's like, it totally is about you, because this whole thing is between you and Leah's relationship. She's looking for something from you. I'm not nervous for tomorrow. I'll say I love you to her, and even if she walks upstairs, at least she'll hear it. The lady says it's hard to get forgiveness. It could even be at your deathbed. That's pretty dark, but it's also looking like that's what's gonna happen. Bronx's therapist comes to Mackenzie's house. She goes into a room with Bronx and some stuffed animals, and she comes out an hour later with her report. She says he definitely doesn't have autism, he loves social interaction. He simply needs a little one-on-one time, and to not feel like he has to fight and claw his way to get attention. He perceives his dad being gone as rejection, and it would be a comfort to have his dad here. Mackenzie realizes that he needs his dad, and she wants Josh to come back, but she isn't sure how to get him back. May I suggest stop making his car and phone payments? He'll book the next flight over. Cheyenne and Zach's VLCAD results come back as negative. Congratulations. Cheyenne says, I thought I would be more excited, but I can't scream from the rooftops because Ryder does have it, and I don't want her to feel bad. I'm happy, but I can't celebrate. But what's great is now I can have breakdowns about other things. Zach's like, please don't. They've also decided on a name, Ace Tara Davis. He explains it as ace is when you do a serve and a miss in tennis. Is that a good thing though? Like missing a shot is what you're naming your kid after? And my dad played tennis, and Tara is my middle name, and also he's getting my last name. Cheyenne's just like, so it's just you up in there, no part of this kid has any of my name. If it was a girl, I would have left it to you, Cheyenne. Even Ryder doesn't have Shy's last name, which is wild because her and Corey were never even together at any point in time. Macy picks up Bentley from the therapist. Bentley reveals that Ryan actually called and talked to the therapist. Macy's shocked. It's a step in a positive direction, and she talks to Taylor about it, but Taylor's not too optimistic. He says Ryan's a dark cloud, he never sticks to anything, and by the way, he needs a drug test. He's not comfortable with Bentley around Ryan, even in therapy, until he gets that drug test. Amber goes to Leah's house with James, but MTV can't film it due to James being there. Afterwards, she reports that she felt odd. Something just feels off, and Leah's still not ready to talk to me. I don't want to push her away more, so I'm just gonna give her more space. Amber's enabler producer's like, your mom kicked you out, Amber, and you live with your dad, and didn't it just make you want your mom more? Amber's like, yeah, but my dad had to call the cops because I kept trying to leave. And I told the cops I don't want to stay here anymore, my dad is a dying alcoholic. And the cops said, isn't that more reason to stay? And I remember my dad just kept saying, I'm sorry, and I felt awful. I wish Leah would feel the same way that I felt back then, but she doesn't. I'm sorry, Leah. And then Amber starts crying. This is one of the few times I actually felt a little bad for Amber. Just a tiny bit, like maybe as tiny as Amber's tiny apology that she gave in this scene. I do feel like Amber is like recreating her own parents' behavior towards her. Mackenzie calls Josh and tells him about the therapy. He's a kid, he's gonna grow out of it. Okay, Josh, but things are hurting him, and he's telling us that in his own way. Well, I guess I can support that. Mackenzie explains that Bronx was using the teddy bear in the session to say, "This is my daddy and I miss him." So Josh finally realizes that and he says, "I'm gonna get my truck and my tools and I'm gonna bring it there and I'm gonna start working in Florida. We're gonna do this." Next is Caitlyn. Caitlyn's laying on the couch. She reveals she woke up from a nap and unfortunately she had a miscarriage. This is her second miscarriage, but she says it was not as traumatic as the first one, and you can tell she's doing way better and handling it far better than she did the last time. She says, "I think it's different this time because my mental health is in a better state. It's not overcoming me or making me spiral. The work that I've done on my mental health has obviously made me come a long way, but it still kind of sucks. I'm just mad at my body." And Nova actually even knows about both of the miscarriages, and Kate uses this little sculpture they have to kind of explain to her what happened in a child-friendly way. And that's all for this episode of Team Mom OG. This was also the season finale. Next week is the reunion, which as usual, I do recap the reunions, but I usually don't do the unseen moments. So there will be an episode next week, and I of course will start Team Mom 2 once that season starts. Excited for that. I like it way better than Team Mom OG. So anyway, what did you think of Cheyenne's helicopter gender reveal? What did you think about Ryan finally doing the therapy? Is he going to keep it up? What did you think of this season finale in general? Make sure to leave a comment down below. Make sure to subscribe for more Team Mom recaps every week.